Hey guys, welcome back to another one of these videos. I believe we are up to day 18. Got it. Sorry, it's a little bit late here. We had a little bit of a longer day. Not too much of a longer day though. As today, and we played Pushka League, it was mostly 2-0s, but the final series at least actually put up a little bit of a fight, gave us a little bit of sustenance, shall we say. So let's start at the beginning of the day. It was Hellraisers versus Fly to Moon. Fly to Moon not really able to compete with Hellraisers. It ended up being a 2-0, and this was kind of as expected. Hellraisers are definitely top 3 in these CIS groupings, so it's not going to be really a surprise that at this rate they are looking to be in one of those top spots for the group stage. Fly to Moon, maybe some potential. I think they needed to tweak their drafts a little bit. They didn't maybe make it easy for them to execute or to follow up after winning fights, I think was one of their downsides. And Hellraisers just are really good at actually understanding what you need to do with your picks right now, and also leveraging that kind of bulky boy type lineup that can actually just run at you. Looking at Na'Vi versus Bait, that was another 2-0. Bait didn't really seem to actually put up much of a fight. It felt really rough. I feel like we've talked about the Bait story way too much. To the point that we're just looping around the same thoughts and again. Funnily enough, like the 8, we just keep coming around on the same points, which is that they don't really have the coherency to follow through. I want to say there seems to be something going on. There is some sort of hog in the machinations that has just been turned sideways and isn't actually doing anything. Because honestly, this team, I think every single time we see them around the 20 to 25 minute mark, if things were looking Bait favored, that flavor starts to lose its taste around that point, and that's when the game does start to tilt back in the favor of their opponents. In this case, it was Na'Vi. The first game, there was maybe some potential you could see there, but the second game, there were moments, but ultimately what I really loved from the side of Na'Vi is the way that they coupled this DK, Void Spirit, and Shadow Demon with then the separate combo of like having the Faceless Void and the AA. And the really cool thing about the way they drafted, this is why I love to actually watch CIS teams at the moment, is the way they utilize Shadow Demon to actually leverage this bulky boy type meta where we're looking for these front liners, these heroes that can come at you fast. They scale, they have a lot of effective HP to work with at an early point. And the cool thing is they open with a Shadow Demon, and by the time they actually utilize that fully in their draft, as like, now that this is picked, we can pick X, it was less obvious to Bait because they left it until the final 2 picks when they picked up the Faceless Void and the Dragon Knight, which are 2 heroes that would probably feel quite roughed up by SD because his toolkit works pretty well against him, especially that Faceless Void. So I really love the way that they kind of elegantly rounded up that draft and put a nice little neat bow tie on the top at the end. Speaking of bow ties, cracked my first bow tie today. I think it worked. I think I looked appropriately in need of help. Not sure if we'll do more of that. It's a different look, I'm usually a tie man, but I'll have a little bit of an occasion where you do that, especially if you're a Brit. And then let's get on to the final series, which is the one that actually gave a little bit of a fight. Liquid versus Alliance. 1-2 was the score in favor of Alliance. Alliance take the victory 2-1. I can't remember if I predicted that. I think I said it was going to be 2-1. I can't remember if I went Alliance or Liquid. But Alliance definitely getting their act together. Liquid game 1 looked really solid. It looked like they'd gone back to the drawing board, learned from their mistakes of yesterday, and they gave themselves a solid anchor point with Quakefire and giving that lone druid in the first game that really actually allowed them to accelerate and take over the game quickly. Then problems were awry. You saw game 2. Alliance confidently opened with this IO pick, and then as we go through the draft, longer and longer, we see Liquid. They keep this staple Oracle. They look through the Ember for 2 of the games, and the Mirana as well. And then they had this Huskar. They're like, oh, Huskar can do a lot. But I love the fact that Alliance went with this Limp Lina that may have looked limp in terms of where its net worth was invested by the end of the laning phase. But because it survived and the Huskar couldn't really snowball off that lane, you just saw him kind of curb off and the Bristleback take over, which was really great for them. And then the third game, Carry Abaddon. This game lined up perfectly. Like the stars were aligned for them to actually go pick that hero and make it work. Because I think Carry Abaddon is definitely a select thing, but they executed it to perfection. I think there wasn't many opportunities for the side of Liquid to come back. Part of that is due to the fact that even when they took a good fight out of their base, right now the meta doesn't really support this comeback mechanic. There's been a lot of effort to quash this in Doha. It is a little bit rough right now. It's a bit sad to not see these turnarounds as much, but hopefully we'll see that change when there's more tier 1 teams playing, when people start to find their stride. Maybe there's just something we're missing, but I do feel like right now in Dota 2, we're missing that kind of that rubber band effect that has been there for a long time and has been there for a good reason, which is if you're so great, then you shouldn't be making these mistakes that lead to your loss. It just feels like right now, if you win your lanes and snowball off that, you have to make a lot of mistakes to get your opponent back in the game. And that's definitely what we saw here. Alliance, credit to them though, after they lost one big fight near Liquid's base, they adapted their strategy. They came at it again. They were a little bit more retracted, and you got to a stage where this bristleback that has been god tier so far at this event wasn't able to crack Alliance. It wasn't able to break their back and allow Liquid back into the game. Looking at tomorrow, more games to come. You will see Liquid to start the day. They're going to be facing off against the side of Enigma. This, I feel, will be a 2-0. I think what Liquid displayed today, and maybe they'll go back to drawing board and discover some again, is if you can't anchor a draft that feels comfortable and get quite foot on these heroes that like give you the objective taking, that give you that kind of anchor point in your draft, then it can become a little bit troublesome. And I think the likes of Enigma definitely look a lot more favored than Liquid right now, especially seeing as they, they suffered against Alliance, who, with the recent addition of S4 and having FNG standing, you'd think if this was any opportunity in the last few days, if it wasn't the NIP series, it should have been the Alliance series. But now they actually going up to what we've seen as the cream of the crop, the tougher teams. So I expect that to be a 2-0. VP versus Fly to Moon, I'm also going to have to say I expect that to be a 2-0. I think Fly to Moon's just got a soft underbelly that's too vulnerable right now. It's very easy to exploit them. They are an aggressive team, but you're playing against Virtus Pro that knows how to play that aggression, and also they seem to be mastering their roles, especially Resolution right now. That guy is on fire, and I wouldn't want to be up against him. Fly to Moon have to, though. But that's going to be a 2, I think. And then to round it out, we're going to have Secret versus the side of OG Seed. For a moment, you're like, hype, this could be a close one, and then you hear Seed. It's like, no offense to the boys, but Secret, they should have this. I would say between OG Seed and Alliance, like if there was one of those two teams I thought might take a game, I think it might have been Alliance. I think OG Seed, if they somehow outdraft Secret, sure, but like the likelihood that which you get an outdraft on Puppey, it's not an easy captain to do that against. And I think if you're talking about these players in their natural habitat, their natural style of play, I definitely have to give the favorable outcome to Secret. So I'm going to say a 2-0 there. It does sound like a day of stomps. We'll have to see if that actually comes true. I really hope it doesn't. I always hate it. Like, some people, they may not be fans of longer days, especially, like, for example, today, if it was a free game series all around, I know some people are like, oh, man, that was exhausting. But I love seeing good Dota, and that's what matters. That's why I was excited to at least see that Alliance versus Liquid had to have a third game. Hopefully, at least one of those series tomorrow will end up going through 3 games. I would be ecstatic, and very happy to see that. And I'd love to see what your thoughts are. If you're happy with my predictions, or you're like, no, there's something in this, like Fly to Moon could strike back, or maybe Liquid, or maybe you're an OG Seed fan, you just believe in the power of Z-Freak and the boys. I'd love to hear about it. The comments down below. Make sure you slide it in there and give your thoughts. Upvote, downvote, whatever you think of this video, I want to know. And be sure to subscribe to the channel to see more of these videos in the coming days. And maybe we'll diversify it a little bit. I believe there's 1 or 2 break days here and there. So maybe instead of WePlay Pushka, we'll get to the diverse content we've been doing, where we talk about esports or my past, etc. My dark past as a disgusting Ember Spirit spammer. I don't know about that. But enough for this video. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.